Hello everyone, welcome back to Draw by Annie channel. This is me Annie and I will be drawing for you today. Grab your tea, coffee and snacks and let's dive into today's video. So today I will be working on the last part of this big project where I was drawing a Mao Mao from Apothecary Diaries, fan art from like an anime shot, where I'm exploring the differences between styles of the original mangaka and animator style and my own art style. So in the last videos I showcased you how I was sketching out in a cafe in the part 1. In the part 2 we were coloring the original manga style artwork, and in this video I'm going to color the last part where I'm showcasing the difference with my own art style, so my version of the same shot from anime. And for this art I'm going to use the same tools that I used in the part 2, so the same color palette, the same alcohol based markers for coloring, a little more variety on the line work because I'm going to use some of the brush pens as well as the fine liners, and some acrylic paint pen for the highlights. So you can already see the difference in the proportions of Mao Mao's face. In my style, the eyes seem to be bigger compared to the original art style. I also add some more details on her nose and her facial features. I have like these extra lines around her eyes and in between the eyes. For some reason, I just want them to be there as a part of line work. I feel like it fits into the style that I mainly use, and without them it feels a little bit empty, so I just do that with pretty much every character that I draw, and it's kind of a little quirk of my art style. So I decided to go on with these details and add them. One thing that I noticed that I do compared to mangakas and animators, I'm used to drawing bigger heads than they usually do in manga or anime, and for some reason she looks younger because of that. I guess that's because children's heads tend to be bigger compared to the rest of their body. I guess my art style inclines more into the cutesy art style, and I want Mao Mao to look cuter and more innocent, I guess. Maybe it doesn't fit with the character as much, but I mean that's what my art style looks like, so I'm not diving too much deep into these kind of details because I'm just doing the fan art really. And if I would be developing a character for my own world, for example for Lyria, I would really keep these kind of details in my head while thinking about the character that I want to develop. Like for example for a warrior that usually comes from dragon race, the Fortean race in Lyria, I would not use this artistic tool of making like a head a little bit bigger compared to the other body features, because I don't want the warrior to look like a kid. That's one thing. And usually warriors are wearing like heavy armors and plates and like huge weapons, you know, and this alone is already making a silhouette look much bigger, so the head will naturally seem a little smaller than maybe it's supposed to be. But if you're looking at someone who's wearing a heavy armor, they will look a little bit smaller in that armor. Like if you compare a person with the armor and a person without the armor, a person in the armor will be bigger in silhouette, but like his head will be a little bit off proportion into smaller size because the rest of the body is bigger because of the armor. I don't know if that makes any sense, but anyway, back to what I was saying. In my art style for Mao Mao, I made her head a bit bigger because I wanted her to look cute, and for the same reason I made her eyes a bit bigger and I added much more lashes because I think they fit her and they kind of add to her femininity. Even though she's not too much feminine in the show, I think she really looks very cute, especially with those freckles. And I guess that's like a matter of taste or like artistic view on how you see a character, and I want to see her as pretty princess. So yeah, that's why I'm just going ahead and adding all of these details with my line work. But all that I'm going to do when I'm done with the coloring and when I'm done with blending some shades. I'm going to shade in a similar way that the original manga artist does, with slightly different shadow underneath her chin. I won't go completely the same as I do with my usual shading, because for my normal artwork I'm using way more colors for the shadows, especially on the skin, but here I want to mimic more into the original art style for the shading, because I want it to look still like pretty simple. And if I choose more colors for the shadows, it will add up too much of the work. That's firstly, and secondly, it will look much more detailed, and animes usually don't look as much detailed. However, I'm going to add tiny bit more details in the background with lines and some colors, because I just want it to look a little more filled, I guess. Even though the background's basically the same, I'm just going to color it a little bit different from the original art style, just to give it a little bit more of identity. I'm very bad with backgrounds. I just want to practice a little bit more. I'm sorry, I'm sounding a bit tired, because I am. I started going back to gym more often, so today is this after gym day where all my muscles are aching. And I just want to go lay down and sleep all day, but I cannot really do that. I wish I could. I need to do some chores, and I need to work on the videos and some voiceovers like I do right now. Yeah, I gotta be productive, even though I don't feel like moving a single muscle of my body, but it is what it is. We gotta stay active and healthy, so the quality of our life will not drop drastically after 40. Oh, the problems of 30s. If I come to think about it, I actually do have a lot of stitching hobbies that make me not move too much during them. Like, for a long time I was studying piano. It was supposed to be my profession, but then I dropped out. I mean, I finished on a different profession, so I was supposed to be a pianist, but I ended up being a piano tech. Then I also like drawing, which is also a lot of sitting and not too much moving. In my teenage days, I was into much of crafting, and I think I was doing some crocheting at some point. Then I was also doing some polymer clay crafting. I think I also did some beads crafting, like jewelry, you know. A little bit of sewing for my dolls. That was also a thing for a while. But yeah, mostly drawing. I really have like tons of hobbies, and I try to use whatever I had on hand, because I couldn't just go into the shop and buy whatever tools I wanted to. These were mostly tools bought for school, because we had this thing called, what is it called in English? I think it's supposed to be called like a household skills or something like that. But basically you just go there, and in school they teach you how to cook, how to sew, how to crochet, how to craft things like around the house. So we were separated by boys and girls, and boys were mostly doing some stuff from wood in the workshop, like cutting wood and making wood crafts and stuff, and girls would be doing the sewing, cooking, and crocheting. So for that I needed to buy like a bunch of tools for the studying. Oh, there was also cross stitching or something like that. Like we were doing that as well. There was a lot of things that they made us try out, and I was literally into every one of them at some point of my life, and it was really fun. Like, I had a room full of activities, and I did them. Like, I did one thing, then I dropped out, and I did the other one, and then I dropped out, and I did the third one. So I got to try like hundreds of things. Maybe that's why I feel like I'm ADHD, because I just like to do everything. By the way, I'm not ADHD, it's just how it feels like. I was never diagnosed, so don't diagnose yourself, kids. If you think you have ADHD or any other mental disorder, please go visit a psychiatrist, okay? So yeah, anyway, I just realized that most of my hobbies were always not very active in terms of physical activity. So now later in life, I feel like my body gives up and I have to force myself to do some physical activity, because without it, it just starts to fail even quicker. And also some eating habits and sleeping patterns not help out. For example, I tend to be more productive at night. Because of that, my sleep schedule often gets ruined, so I can sleep until midday. or I try to wake up at normal time and then I feel sleepy most of the day. And by the end of the day, like at 9 in the evening, I feel refreshed all over again. So like I'm sleepy like first 15 hours of my day, and then by the time I need to actually go to sleep, I just wake up all of a sudden, and then I can do stuff and I can draw and I can be creative and I can do some work. So it's horrible, dude. I don't know what to do with these things. Sometimes I just feel like gaming all day without having to do anything, but there is just a pile of chores around home that I need to do. It's like I cannot really not do them, because if I fall back too much, it just gets piling up even more, so the problem gets worse. So yeah, my solution was for me to do the home chores when I'm sleepy, because kind of creativity just leaves the chat in the first part of the day. Like before 6, I cannot even think about being anything creative. Now slowly I can start trying to schedule some creative activity a little bit earlier in the day, but usually I can only do creative stuff so much before sunset, and then after sunset creativity just hits in. Like I feel like there is like a button, creativity on, in my brain that turns off as soon as the sun rises and then it turns on closer to the sunset or like in evening time. I don't understand how that works exactly, but I mean that's how it's been working for years now for me. As much as I can remember myself, I was always creative, mostly in the evening. Maybe it's because of the school times, you know, because I couldn't be creative during school classes. I had to study, but later on after school activities are usually, you know, after school, and that tends to be more on an afternoon/evening time. So maybe it comes from that time, or I don't know. If you have any ideas why that could be, and any tips to improve my creativity on other times, that would help me a ton, because it's really hard for me to keep creating while juggling all the chores around the house and trying to be, you know, a good family member and a productive wife. I just want to be able to do whatever I need to do on hand at any time that I need to do it, not when I feel like it. And then also dealing with the shame and guilt of not being productive when I cannot be as productive as I am on some days. Like for some reason, some days are super productive. I can do all the homework like around the house in one day. Like I can clean up both floors, I can clean up all the dishes, I can do all the laundry, folding, I can do all the reorganizing and shit. And the other day I can barely pick myself up to go to the shower. Like what the heck? For some reason, caffeine and sweets also affect my productivity like drastically. Let's say I don't eat anything sweet or drink any caffeine like for a few hours or a few days. I cannot do anything. Like my body is just so stressed. I cannot do literally anything creative. Not a single stroke, not a single sketch or even like a script or anything like that. I cannot do it. And that really gets me thinking, like, what is wrong with me? Is that normal? Like, why am I making this super productive me as a standard, while this is clearly not a standard? This like stands out because I had like a good energy, and I don't know why I have like so much energy to do all of that, but that's not what normally happens. But I still think that this is supposed to be standard and I'm supposed to be productive this much every day, and when I'm not, I start to guilt shame myself, like, why are you not productive, blah blah blah. Can you please share your own experience on that? Because sometimes I feel there's really something wrong with me, but if you guys think that this is normal, please let me know in the comments, because that would really put some peace in my soul. Like sometimes these thoughts just send me into a spiral of overthinking over and over again, and I just get stuck in these thoughts, and I don't know how to let me out of this cage. Jeez. But if I have this comment section filled up with stories that are similar to my experience, I will know that I'm not alone, and I can get back to it and reassure myself that that's okay. You know, you need to rest, and productive days are productive days, and they are rather less than more, because we're human. I tend to forget about the simple things, but yeah, I guess we need other people to reassure us sometimes, especially in the weaker times. So I would really appreciate if you left some comments regarding your own experience and your thoughts about these types of mental cognitive traps. And I'm sure that would help tons of people out there, including myself. So yeah, while we were chatting, I have finished the coloring and the line art for this Mao Mao fan art, and I hope you like it, and I'm really happy you spent your time with me in this video. I will see you in the comment section. I really appreciate every comment, every like, every watch, and every one of you. Thank you so much for sticking up with me and supporting me. I love you. And that will be all for Mao Mao experiment. I hope you like the results. Also, let me know in the comments which style do you prefer more, the original manga anime style or more original art style like mine. Don't forget to wash your cup, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!